It's a new week, and right here is our weekly outlook on our usual pace, beginning with the XY, the dollar index. On our previous week, that was last week, the 2 weeks ago, we had a mention on DXY, and we had looked at this bullish balance price range here, and we looked at the whole of this. We had this as a little bearish order block here. It was the high of the order block, and we also had this other high highlighted. For those who are watching this for the first time, this high is a monthly fair value gap here. It is the open of a monthly fair value gap. And this year, this bullish candle is just a small order block that if price had to use to sell lower, it could sell. But we're looking at price hoping it should break this high and potentially still reach for this next high right here. So what has the week done? We see price actually coming into the fair value gap, rebalancing it, mitigating the fair value gap, and using it to break that order block here. Alongside that, it took out a monthly high right here. If we go back to the monthly time frame, you will see that this high was the previous month's high, July's high. And after price took out the monthly high, what the price do? Price started selling off strongly. When did it sell? It sold during NFP. This was the rejection back into the range on the weekly time frame. Looking at this, looking at this only from the weekly chart, price could do two things. If price has to rally higher till this high, I would love to see this week closing above this range here. But if price has to sell, then price will just continue, it will just dance and continue selling to the downside. So since I am bullish, I want to use this week. I'll be trading very carefully, especially with my USD pairs. I'll be trading very carefully with the perspective that I'm looking for price rallying to this, but I'll still need more confirmation. And for more details on this, if you look at this price on the daily time frame, you see that price had created this little failure swing. It broke, came back for a little fair value gap here, and expanded, causing a bigger break of structure and leaving behind this mitigation block, which it has just come back into. Also, these fair value gaps here on the daily time frame. This is also a small breaker right here if you want to look at it from this perspective. Price could use this range to push price higher from this daily perspective. So we are going to be looking at what price does on Monday, Tuesday. Maybe Monday could still just close inside the range and it creates this fair value gap for price to come for more sales and it goes higher, or it can go higher immediately. As well as you can do that, then still try to look for bears if we are wrong. But I would really love to see price rallying higher. That is what I want to see from DXY. Of course, more confirmations are going to be done during the week, and with that, everything will be and everyone will be updated. On to our next pair. Euro USD, just like DXY, just literally the opposite, has also taken out the monthly low and rejected during the range and into the range during NFP. It also has a bullish fair value gap right here. TXY had a bearish monthly fair value gap, so Euro USD needs to have a bullish one, which is right here. Monthly low taken and a rejection back inside of the range. If we drop down to the weekly time frame, we see price had rejected two immediately after it took out that monthly low and it has come back to this. So just as we were saying, if there has to be sales, I want to see this next week closing below this low here. If it closes below this low, it may just continue selling to the downside till it reaches this fair value gap. But this next week, if it's that we are wrong, it will just invert and go, because you can see it has closed above this low, but the whole swing has not occurred. That's why I'm still second guessing and I'm having multiple thoughts, because price has taken out this low, but it's just one candlestick that has formed. There are not many candlesticks and we don't have enough context. On the daily time frame, we have this fair value gap and this mitigation block. I will highlight the mitigation block right here, that if Euro USD has to sell more, it could use and sell. So if price keeps rejecting our bearish PTI raise on the lower time frame, that is in this perspective, the daily time frame, if it keeps rejecting them, before I'll be looking for more buys on EU. Until then, I want to see how price is rejecting from here to see if it will keep pushing to the downside. On to our next pair. Gbpusd, on the other hand, has already sold till our own to its own monthly fair value gap right here. If you look at this, it hasn't tapped into the fair value gap, but it has sold to it. So yeah, the fact that it has sold to it, but it has not yet tapped into it, could still mean price may dig deeper and enter that monthly fair value gap. As you can see here, if you have to zoom in, you can see this low. I haven't put this thing on the same low exactly, have I? Okay, now it is. You see that this low, this range here, this candle's low has not yet taken out this one, and this monthly fair value gap is still unfilled. Dropping to the weekly time frame, on the weekly, we see this range here, swing high, swing low. Price has just broken this one here, and if this next week if he has to sell more, he could sell and leave behind a fair value gap. That fair value gap could be used for more sales in the long run if price has to actually sell more on GU and buy on EU and sell on EU and buy on DXY. So this week will be a very important week. It will tell us a lot concerning our story for the next week as well. Right now, I want to see what price is willing to do. If he has to sell for GU, he will take out that low, enter into the fair value gap, and if he has to buy, he could buy from that fair value gap, but it could still rally again for this next low because we can see these swing lows as trendline liquidity. We have sell side liquidity below here, we have sell side liquidity here, here, and here. But for now, we cannot just start targeting all of those without having enough confirmation. So let's see how this week will react. Maybe it could just open slightly, reach here, leave behind some space for a weekly fair value gap and sell off, taking out this low and closing below this low. So on EU and GU, I want to see sales potentially closing below their various lows so that it should give us more context and more bearish ideas. And DXY, I would love to see it buy a little more to close above that high and give it more bullish ideas. If I am wrong and it doesn't do that, then the inverse may occur. As every trader has to do, you need to be looking at it with both perspective, understanding when you are right and when you are wrong. So we will go to gold from here on. From here, if we have to look at gold here, we have been looking at bullish pricing of gold for a very, very long time, even though the probability of sales to occurring are possible with ZXY doing what it wants to do on its own place. Here we have gold. It had done that internal range and it's moving to external range. And you see from this, so far it has just been accumulating inside of this range, but it's giving good moves on the daily time frame. You see here, after it reacted to this shift in market structure, it hasn't broken that low. This is the shift in market structure that I'm talking about. This was the low from the shift, and this is where it broke the structure right here. We have a high, high, swing low, a higher high, which breaks the fair value gap. And as you can see, it rallied the first time. The last time that we spoke about gold, I was saying gold has to reach here. It didn't reach right till the high, but it actually bought quite a distance. It has come back to discount, taken out this low, and right now it's inside of a bearish fair value gap. But this candle looks like a big engulfment, which has also done a swing high and a break, which could be another small break in the structure. So I want to see what price will do here to tell if it's going to buy more till this high. Remember that gold has been high in demand. So when I say high in demand, I'm talking about when we read the macros. If you say you want more information on that, you can read it on Bloomberg or any. But we know that gold has been high in demand, so there's still a high probability for bullish prices. But nevertheless, we can't just neglect the bearish pricing due to the fact that gold broke this low here and it's inside of a bearish fair value gap. We could still use it and sell back for this low because these are relatively equal lows here. This high is not going anywhere. It can reach that high anytime. And this could be really the move that gold wants to take out. So for gold, the fact that it's in this equilibrium, I will not want to put my head too much on it. But it buying is the most probable thing that I'm seeing right now. And Gbpjpy, our last pair, since GJ is actually the it's actually in negatively correlated to gold. That means if gold has to buy, GJ has to sell. And as we can see on GJ, it tapped into a weekly fair value gap a while ago. And if he had to buy, the last time we were saying we wanted to see bullish pricing on GG. But instead, what has happened? We have a very massive bearish candle. And what has price done? Price has taken, it has rejected and is closing below the range. We actually see this as a potential weekly bearish order block that is trying to form or has already formed. On the daily time frame, price has just sold and broken. If price had created a fair value gap already, I could just assume that this is a shift in market structure because another correlated pair to GG, that's Eurogpy, has created a stop horn shift in market structure. This one looks more like a failure swing, and that is SMT divergence that is already playing its part. So if GG has to sell, you will be selling to, there's a weekly fair value gap down here, which I will also highlight right at discount of the range. So if GJ has to sell, it could even be selling right here. So we will be looking at it based off of the structure that we have seen. That is all for our weekly outlook. We have looked at DXY, EU, GU, gold, and here we are completing with GBP, From here, we'll be looking at price during the week and we will be having our trades taken. And of course, ideas on those trades will be shared during the week as well. I wish you good luck and good trading. And of course, I hope to see you on the next one. I'm out. Stay blessed. Have a nice day.